Hello everyone, welcome back to Chill Trades, the most accurate stock market channel on YouTube. Today we're going to be covering 3 stocks. We're going to do only technical analysis today. We're going to cover SOFI, Alibaba, which is Baba stock, and then last is Palantir, PLTR. We're going to kind of dive into the technicals, look for both potential price predictions or points to look at, as well as support, resistance, and where the stocks could be headed. If you're here, please hit the sub, join the community, it's growing. We have a Discord, it's in the description. I have a Patreon as well if you want to support me, if you've been around for a while. It's just a couple bucks a month, help support the channel, helps me keep the videos going. I do 3 a week, so right now, and a live stream on Friday. So first let's go to SOFI. So the first thing I want to do is look at, I did a video a couple weeks ago, or last week or so. First thing with SOFI, this is not the right company. SOFI is looking at institutions and insiders. So first thing, insiders, 377 million sold. Who sold those this quarter? We have director, vice chair, CEO, insider. So the majority of that selling was from the director and the vice chair. Always something you want to pay attention to, because if we're getting into Q1, Q2, and we get more and more selling, it's just something to keep an eye on. Some people are talking about bank charters. Who really knows? But that's something to keep an eye on when it comes to insiders or institutions. These guys are still buying, so a lot bought at that $14 pullback, and we're still seeing a little bit come in this in Q3, but not as much. So let's go just get right into the technicals. So first thing I want to say, we made this video, I said if it breaks below this 19-ish range, it's going to 1750. Guys, I do this. We do this on this channel. And this is just by technical analysis. This is all we have to do to figure out where the price is going. And so we have, RSI oversold. It is trying to bounce a little bit here. Obviously, we had a big market recovery day. The NASDAQ was up 2.5%. So we saw some of that happen, price action happen here as well. Couple things to look at. One, this downward trend on the daily being tested. So if we do break out of this, definitely expect a little push higher. Whenever you have a technical breakout, it often is joined with a kind of boost. And if we do see a little jolt upwards, we could go from, say, 1860, where are we at right now? 1840 to 1920, which is also the 20 moving average. So the 20 EMA is at 1945. So we could definitely come into that resistance, and then we'll have to make a decision there. If we do break out here, but we don't see big volume, so tomorrow if we see volume come in, today was 22 million, say we see somewhere around like 13 million or below, there's a high chance that we won't get that jump, and we'll probably get a sideways trickle, either a little bit up or a little bit down, depending if it's green or red. So if we do break out, we want to see volume accompany that, and we'll probably come to this 20 EMA and this big price resistance at 1930 range. We zoom out, something I always do on this channel. Look at this. Look at all this kind of sideways action within these 2 candles. Look how many times it's come and kind of indecision around there. That indecision means it's going to have a hard time breaking back through it to the upside. So if we do come up here, we also have the 50-day in another area of big resistance at 1990. So those are the prices we want to look at. 1930, 1990, say 20, those EMAs are right there. If we do fail, say we go sideways and then we start heading lower, we have obviously that big support at 1740. And then the next below that, we have really big resistance, or support, sorry, is 1670, around that range. Again, when we zoom out, just look at all this price action in this zone specifically. So if we come back into this zone, there's a high probability that we're going to shoot around here, because there was a lot of buying before. There's going to be a lot again. We do have this uptrend right here, which would be really amazing. Excuse me. Would be really amazing if we can hold this. If we can hold this, this is a really good sign of a very stable uptrend. Whenever we're looking at stocks, we want this kind of 45-degree-ish angle. And if we can come back, even if we go sideways here, maybe come back down to this support again and keep this trend line, that's going to be really bullish for the long term, but we do need to see some kind of long-term trend line start to establish itself on SOFI for us to be a bullish reversal in the long term. So we have that 1740, 1670, and then again under that we have that $16. So in the short term, both the downside and upside, those are places I'm going to be looking for. The next stock we're going to cover is Alibaba, a favorite on the channel and a favorite for a lot of people. So again, cover this in every video we do on Alibaba. You can go back and watch those where we do more technical and fundamental analysis. Today's just technical, but we're still having more selling than buying. So we look here, 70 million on the 18th. You know, selling a lot of red here compared to green. You know, we have some green, but still more red than green, so that's something to know. You know, the big boys are still selling compared to buying. We did have Raul Delio's fund, which is Bridgewater Associates, double down on their position, so that's a big win. But that's some things to look at and who's buying and selling. So big picture, 130 is, I would say, extreme support. If we look at 130, this is where we're at. 130 is right here. Look at this double bottom back in 2018. If we can't hold 130, we have 120 and 110 as the next two big support zones. 120 is right here. See these 2 points? One right there, one, sorry, that's not 120, and then one right here in this kind of accumulation zone. And then below that we have 110, which is this big point. We have a little bit of accumulation there as well, and then this kind of zone right here is around 110. So those are the two areas I'll be looking for. In their past videos you can watch a more deep dive, but we did say we have a 5-wave down, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're probably in a 5th here. So we'll have to see what happens on this 5th wave down, if we hit a bottom or if we have more to go. So zooming in more for short-term price action. So 130 is important. Now we know we have 120 and 110 below that. If we do have a bottom here, you know, we're seeing a little bit of divergence. So back at this point, which was at 153, we had RSI hit 19, and now we're at 130 and we have RSI at 27. So we have a divergence there, and we have a divergence there. So one way is the chart's going down, but the RSI is upward trend. So if we stay above, say, like 25 or so, we could see some divergence here, which could either be a bottom or another short-term push higher. If we do push higher, the prices we want to keep an eye on, first one is 150, or around 150, 150 to 152. We have the 20 EMA there. We also have this little zone. If we zoom out, 150, all this chaos right there. Zoom out even more. Where's 150? See, when you zoom out, you get a little confused. There you go, 150, all that little chaos over there too. So 150 is a really big area of resistance. And then if we break above 150, 160 to 161, we have the 50 EMA as well as another big resistance zone. 160, if we look at the chart here, it's all this chaos right there. So those are two areas that we really want to keep an eye on. Honestly, what we really want Alibaba to do is bottom and honestly go sideways. Sideways is the best case scenario for Alibaba at this point. It has just been such a severe sell-off that we need some sideways action. We haven't really got any sideways action. The best we've had, a little bit of sideways here for a couple weeks and then up higher. I honestly would want 6 months, 3 months of sideways action. Even if we pop up a little bit and then go sideways around here, these are the best case scenarios for Alibaba if you are a buyer. We really need to see a reversal, and reversals typically don't happen like this. Every time you see pop lower, pop higher, it was not a short term. Pop higher, short term. Pop higher, short term. When you have these violent moves higher, what we're seeing is it typically heads to a lower low. And so violent pop higher, lower low. So we really want to see if it pops higher, we want it to go sideways, or we just want to see sideways here for a while. So those are a couple things to keep an eye on. Last stock is PLTR, Palantir. So Palantir, institution-wise and insiders. So the first thing, insiders, tons of selling, hundreds of millions of dollars of selling. It's by insiders, director. So someone's taken some cash. You know, they probably bought this. They probably got pretty low price point on their shares, and so they're taking some profit. On the flip side, insiders, we're still seeing a lot of, institutions, we're still seeing a ton of buying. So, you know, going back to 2020, billion, almost 3 billion, 3 billion, 5.5 billion, 2.5 billion. So insiders are still buying here. If you want my 2 cents, Palantir is a great long-term story. I think it's overvalued today, but you know, I think you can get cheaper shares at some point, but in the long term, I do think it is a winner. First thing we want to call out technically, so we had RSI hit oversold. Last time we hit oversold was back in May, was on this dip. So we'll have to see. This one went down to $17. Let's put a line there, 17. We also have another important area, I would say around there. So 17, we have a dip just about to oversold. Didn't quite get there, but it could be another area. If we see a little sideways action and be able to hold and break higher, then that might be a bottom with some more upward price action. But this is a really important area to hold when we look at the price, which is at 2025. When we zoom out, here we go, 2025, we have these two candles. We have this candle. Let's say 21 to 20, because we have all these little candles in this zone. We have all these candles in this zone. We really need to hold that, because that's extreme support. But if we break below, it becomes extreme resistance, and it's going to be harder for the stock to get back above that price point. So this is a really important zone to hold. If it does hold and it starts moving higher, obviously we weren't able to break above this, say, 21.15 today. And if we do break above 21.15, then we have the 20 EMA at 22.65, which is going to be the first area of resistance. We also have a really big area of resistance when we look at trend lines. So candle, look at just all these candles. All you have to do is go in the past when you're looking technically, look at all the candles, find where they hit, and that's going to be, if it's above the price, it's resistance. If it's below the price, it's support. So that would be the first area. And then when we zoom out, I think the 50-day is also at pretty important resistance as well. You see all these candles there, it held. All these candles there, it held. Back here, it couldn't break above, you know, had some trouble. So 2260 to 2370 are two up to the upside areas we're looking. If it does break below this really important 2030 range, then we have kind of these bigger candles here. And whenever we have big candles, it can often mean that if we break below, it's going to go quickly to the downside. If we do break this out, we have some decent support at 1960. Where are we at? 1960, which we kind of have, I would say a little bit at 1960, but if there's enough red volume, it can push right through that. And below 1960 is going to be 1780 or 1870. If it breaks below 1870, then this 1870 to $18, and then below that is 17 back here. Unless the market gets really, really red, I would say this stock is probably not going to go to 17 in the short term, but these are just price points to keep an eye on I would say over the next month, 2 months, 3 months. But that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed those videos. I really love to hear your feedback in the comments. And I will be back on Wednesday for another kind of technical analysis video covering a few different stocks. So I'll see you on Wednesday.